All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here today to discuss about WWE Wrestlemania Night 1. WrestleMania 37, to be exact, Night 1. My attitude on this pay-per-view. There were some good things, there were some bad things. There were some choices made in the main event that I didn't particularly like, but it was a good match nonetheless. Starting off with the very first match of the night was the WWE Championship. Yes, there was a rain delay. It lasted for 30 minutes. I think the show finally had its first match by 8:30, 8:35, somewhere around there. And we had Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. This was a very satisfying match. I actually would have preferred this match to be the main event, despite the fact of the build. The build was shit, I gotta admit. And also, not to mention that Bobby Lashley, to become WWE Champion, was kind of weak by having The Miz become WWE Champion. Drew McIntyre has been losing the title, lost the title multiple times leading up to WrestleMania. So it kind of made things a little awkward to put that in the main event. So I can understand the idea of why it was the first match on the card. I kind of preferred it to be in the middle of the show. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I think the SmackDown Tag Team title, four-corner tag team title match would have been better for the opener of this show. I think that would have really kicked ass. To be honest with you, I don't think that SmackDown Tag Team title match should have been on the SmackDown episode. But personally, it was a good match. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Both guys did very well here. Bobby Lashley walked away with the victory, retaining the championship. I really thought Drew McIntyre was going to win the title back just to give it back to him in front of a crowd. Thank God that did not happen. I'm glad we got to see something different, and it was not for nothing, thankfully. So I'm very happy about that. I think Bobby Lashley getting a win in front of a crowd at a major event like this, WrestleMania, is a great idea by WWE. They gave him a solid after 16 years of being in the wrestling business, and you know, they didn't do right by him the first go-round. Second go-round, they weren't doing so good, but in the last couple of months, the beginning of 2021, they've done right by him very well. So I give WWE some kudos for what they did. I don't like the fact they broke up the Hurt Business. I don't know what that is entailing. I don't know if maybe we're trying to turn Bobby Lashley into the ultimate heel like Roman Reigns, where he doesn't need to get any kind of help to win the matches. He just does it on his own and kicks his opponent's ass. What I don't understand about this is leading into WrestleMania, he was trying to look for a way of taking Drew McIntyre out. I don't get it. It makes no sense. The way they made him look tonight was great. They could have just left it alone from what they were doing leading up to this pay-per-view. He didn't have to look for someone to take out Drew McIntyre. Just did what he did here, and that would have been good enough. So it kind of makes you kind of question the strategy or the logic here, or what they were trying to do. It made no sense to me at all. So I didn't particularly think that was very smart of WWE to do that. Next match on the card was the Women's Tag Team Turmoil elimination match. I don't remember everybody's name in this matchup. I know the Riot Squad was in there. They got eliminated last, which I don't understand why the fucking Riot Squad did not win this. But Natalya and Tamina are the ones that actually win the tournament at the end, the Tag Team Turmoil elimination match. To face fucking... God. to face Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Why wouldn't they go with fucking the Riot Squad? They're in a legit tag team. They've been together from day one since they came to the main roster. They made them into a faction group, excluding Sarah Logan, but still, you have these women together. They should be freaking tearing it up together as a tag team, and they ain't doing shit. They were eliminating most of the women in this match. Naomi and Lana got eliminated by Carmella and fucking Billie Kay. Unbelievable. I hardly paid attention to this matchup. Then the Riot Squad eliminated them, and I believe another tag team came in before Tamina and Natalya, and they eliminated that tag team and almost won the whole thing, but then Natalya and Tamina beat the Riot Squad, and that's our number one contenders to face for the tag team titles for the women's division. Whoop-de-fucky-do. This match was trash. 2 out of 5 stars. I'll give them a little bit of credit. They did put some good work in for what it was worth, but if you were to go back and watch this was a definite skip. Next match on the card, I believe, was... I'm trying to remember. Come on, brain. Work with me. Oh, shit. The next match on the card, I believe... I'll just go through what I remember, and whatever I miss, I don't really fucking care, to be honest with you guys. I'm having issues with my own eye right now. I don't give a flying fuck about some fucking match card. So, what I remember in this thing was Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. This was much of nothing. Didn't really particularly care for this match at all. Braun Strowman did win this match. I'm giving it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Match was god-awful terrible. Oh yeah, Seth Rollins and Cesaro. That was the next match on the card. I almost forgot about that. Apologize. Seth Rollins and Cesaro was an excellent match. This matchup, I don't know if I'm in the minority when I say this, but I think Cesaro and Seth Rollins was probably the best match on the entire card for night one. To be quite frank with you. Yeah, the women's championship match had a lot going into it. They really did, but being that it's a singles matchup with the women main eventing night one of WrestleMania, which has only been done once, and now it's been done twice. I mean, this is just, this match was really good, though. Seth Rollins and fucking Cesaro really stole the show, and they did the right thing. Thank you, God. Cesaro won this match and beat Seth Rollins. This could be some good news and signs for us as wrestling fans and for Cesaro leading into the future, into the summer. I think by SummerSlam, we may be looking at the next WWE Universal Champion. I may be crazy to be saying that right now. We might be able to see WWE Creative do the right thing by Cesaro and push him in a direction that we can actually be believing that this guy has a shot against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Done right, that is. If he ain't done right, it ain't gonna happen. Then again, you could always do that, build him up, and have him lose to fucking Roman Reigns at the end of the day at SummerSlam. That's another thing they could do. And either way, it doesn't matter. It's still good. Because you're still producing a main event star to go up against Roman Reigns. Win or lose, draw, I don't give a shit. You have Cesaro by SummerSlam being a challenger for the Universal title, whether he wins or loses, is a big plus for WWE Creative to pull that off and make people interested in that. Because Cesaro has been a nobody on this fucking roster. And tonight, they just made him into something. A big deal. Somebody people can pay attention to and have hopes and belief that he's going to get some kind of major push in WWE. So, I hope we get to see that going into the future this summer. I already mentioned about there was another match after that. And by the way, this match was a 4 out of 5 stars, easy, with no problem. Definitely was a good match. The Raw Tag Team titles were on the line. The New Day, which Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods came out. And then AJ Styles and Omos. My impressions of Omos having his debut match at WrestleMania. The guy's a big son of a bitch. He's hard to take down. But he reminds me of the Great Khali. And God help us all, man. God help us all. When you got the look of a Great Khali type of character, that's a problem. The guy is powerful. No doubt about it. That spine buster he did to fucking, I think it was Kofi Kingston, it was unbelievable. That was just downright spine tingling. But to be quite frank with you guys, he ain't no fucking 5-star wrestler. You're not going to see him being talked about by Dave Meltzer saying, oh, what a great match he had at whatever event he performed in. No fucking way, it ain't happen. That guy is fucked. He ain't nothing. AJ Styles did most of the work. He got his ass kicked mostly. He didn't even perform any of his finishing maneuvers except for the phenomenal forearm when he leaped off of Omos' shoulders and connected, I think, on Xavier Woods. And that was basically that. And almost put his foot on top of Kofi Kingston's chest and got the 1-2-3. And they became the new tag team champions. Am I happy with that? Absolutely not. What's the point? There's no tag team. What are they going to do with the tag team titles? Give it back to the fucking New Day? Or are they going to be this reigning dominant tag team champions because Omos is a one-man team? And really, to get to the point, he ain't going to need AJ Styles to do jack shit. He could just sit in a corner. Unless another big man goes up against him. Which could possibly happen, like Braun Strowman. This match was a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't terrible. I thought it was okay. I thought it was very funny with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston talking about tag team strategy out loud, saying, we're cutting off 3/4 of the ring and keeping him in the corner and blah, blah, blah. And Michael Cole chimed in and he says, oh, okay, so they're wrestling and doing commentary at the same time. I kind of like it. I thought that was kind of cute. Very funny. But it was nothing. There was nothing special about it. I just liked the tag team strategy by the New Day. There was some comedy thrown in, and it was a okay match, but it ain't nothing. It ain't even almost a 4-star match, okay? It's never going to be one. It ain't going to be 5-star. Never come close to a 5-star match. But, yeah. That's pretty much my opinion on that. It's an average match. If you went back to it, rewatched night 1, you probably would skip that match depending on how you felt about it. Me, I feel in between about it. I don't think it's anything special, but nothing to hate on. But to go back and watch it again, I'd probably skip it just to save time if I wanted to watch this event again. The next match after that, I believe, was Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. Why in the hell is this getting a video package hype up for this match? The basis of this storyline is Shane McMahon making fun of a humongous dude who's more bronze than brains, and his whole attitude. He was asked earlier in the night, he says, some people would look at you as a bully, Shane. What is your opinion on that? He says, I'm not a bully, I'm just making fun of Braun Strowman at his own expense, because he is stupid. And I have to agree. I mean, I don't know who in the fuck right mind would schedule a steel cage match with him. He had outside interference before the match even started, number one. You had Elias and Jason Riker get involved, strike his knee. He almost got, based on what was going on in this made match, it was made for him to be at a disadvantage. Okay, the steel cage didn't stop anything, number one. Number two, he also got involved. They also got involved at some point in this matchup while they were in the match. And on top of it, Shane was able to find a toolbox on the top of the steel cage in this little baggie, which I've never seen before at a steel cage match at all. But he managed to pull out a toolbox and smash it over Braun Strowman's skull. Braun Strowman falls to the mat. Shane starts trying to climb out of the cage. He's laughing. He's like, oh my god, I just won this match. This guy's a fucking putz. Blah, blah, blah. So it's taking a sweet-ass time. Instead of dropping down to the floor like any smart person would do, he just kept climbing down very slowly. Which, again, this is what hurts wrestling, the predictability and the knowing of a fixed match. Do not set yourself up in situations where a guy is going to look like a dipshit. This was one of those situations. Steel cage matches need to die. They don't belong in the WWE. I am sorry. The way they are done, they are made to make the performers look like idiots. This situation here was a situation to make someone look like a dipshit. And that is what it was based on. Stupidity. And the storyline was all based on being dumb. Stupid is what stupid does, I'm fucking dumbfounded by all this. And the whole storyline was ridiculous. Thank God the match was over. Braun Strowman hit a running power slam, got the 1-2-3, and put this fucking match to rest. He manages to grab the cage and rip it open to grab Shane McMahon. He also grabbed his arm. Here's another dipshit thing he did, Shane McMahon. Not to mention did he also take his time climbing down the side of the cage. He also decided to wave goodbye to Braun Strowman, taunting him, and then Braun Strowman just woke up out of his coma, grabbed him by his arm, held him, and pulled the cage wide open so he could grab Shane McMahon and pull him back into the ring, and then ultimately won the match. This match, whatever. It wasn't bad. I'm not going to say it was terrible. I'm not going to say it was great either. But I'm not going to... I may go back and watch it possibly just for shits and giggles, because it was pretty fucking funny. Shane McMahon took a nice leap off the fucking cage by Braun Strowman. That was a really good one, too. He goes, you're a fucking idiot. Well, he didn't say fucking idiot. He said, you're an idiot. And he grabbed him by his arm and threw him off the fucking cage. Threw Shane right into the mat. And I believe that's where he performed a power slam, a running power slam, and got the 1-2-3 and ended the match. I mean, there was some good points in this match. Overall wise, I was okay with it, but to be quite frank with you, the concept of the storyline was just weak as fuck and dumb. Just like the character buildup that they had with this. It was just fucking stupid. It made no sense. You're gonna sit there and do that when you could have Shane McMahon and Sami Zayn have a fucking one-on-one classic like we saw with Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 33. That match at WrestleMania 33 with Shane McMahon and AJ Styles was fucking awesome. And you could have made the storyline into something to turn Sami Zayn into a face with a legit proof that he's being fucking wrongly done in WWE by, officials. Bottom line, that is what they could have done. And they could have, instead of making Sami Zayn look like a fucking mental case who looks like he belongs on fucking meds, you could actually make Sami Zayn actually provide proof that there is a conspiracy theory against him and that the officials in WWE are trying to hold him down. But they didn't do that. So, there you go. But yeah, my opinion, Shane McMahon should have been facing Sami Zayn, not Kevin Owens. As much as I like Kevin Owens and I want to see him succeed and move up in WWE, that match never should have happened. Sami Zayn should be turned into a mental case or looking like belongs in a mental facility. Because really right now at this point, the way the storyline goes, it makes Sami Zayn look like he's lost his fucking mind, lost a grip on reality. That's all there is to it. But this match was a 3 out of 5 stars. I'll be a little bit generous and give it a 3 out of 5 stars because there was some moments in here I did kind of enjoy with Shane and Braun Strowman. The next match on the card was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. There was bunnies coming out of the rampway, the entranceway. And I'm going, oh my god, we're revisiting 2014. They used to have a fucking bunny with this guy that had this party group. They all looked like they were tripping on acid. I forgot his name. It doesn't really matter. He was just a fucking... He's just some stupid jobber who... I think No Way Jose was part of that group at one point. And then he was able to move on to an NXT run, which was totally unsuccessful. But yeah, he had this group of people. They were like a hang-along party group doing a dance down to the ring. And he had this bunny. And this bunny was his tag team partner in certain points. It was probably the weakest fucking thing on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown you could possibly ask for in 2014. I really thought I was losing my mind, and then not to mention Cody Rhodes being fucking Stardust. That was another thing that really pissed me off in 2014. Besides Daniel Bryan getting screwed out of a fucking storyline to be main eventing one-on-one with Randy Orton, which was the more reasonable fucking match and made more sense. But that's a totally different story for a thing that happened a very long time ago. But Daniel Bryan still got his moment, which he might get his moment tomorrow night. You never know. With WWE, you never fucking know. Because they could always pull something out of the bag, which they did later on tonight, which I'll discuss. But, yeah, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest won this match. The Bunnies, by the way, they were coming out for the entranceway, was for the terrible single by Miz and Morrison. Absolutely fucking dreadful to listen to. Thank God it was over real quick. And then we moved on to Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Bad Bunny had a nice entrance on the top of a semi-truck. Came into the stadium on it. And got some fireworks and what have you. He looked pretty good in the match. I mean, he didn't do terrible. I mean, I wouldn't want him to be there on a regular basis. Him being a manager, maybe. I don't think I'd have any issues with that. But him actually wrestling on a consistent basis, no fucking way. If they were to sign him to an actual deal. But he did do something that impressed me, which not too many people can do this, and I highly doubt any actor or celebrity came into this fucking realm of wrestling and doing a Canadian Destroyer. I think it was with John Morrison, and connecting with that. Now, John Morrison was doing the move with him, so I'm pretty sure John Morrison and him practiced this so they could get it nailed down correctly so John Morrison wouldn't injure himself. But it was pretty fucking impressive. I gotta give it to Bad Bunny with that Canadian Destroyer. That was pretty nice on the outside of the ring. Damian Priest, I believe, hit his South of Heaven finishing maneuver. And then he had Bad Bunny do a finishing maneuver. I didn't pay too much attention to this. This wasn't all that entertaining to me either. I mean, to be quite frank with you guys, night one was okay, but it wasn't that great, man. It wasn't like, oh my god, this feels like No, this did not feel like WrestleMania. This felt like a B-level pay-per-view. And it was better, I'll give it this much. It was better than fucking Fastlane. I will admit that. At least it had some kind of legit reason to be there in certain aspects. Fastlane had no reason to be there. The only match that meant anything was Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, and the build-up leading into it turning into a triple threat match. That's the only thing that meant anything on Fastlane from last month. This month, there was a couple of matches on here that you could care about. And then night two is definitely of a feeling of WrestleMania, in my opinion. So, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like this is like an intro into what WrestleMania is going to be like in night two, because night two's stacked with a lot of better they're stacked with better matches, man. This was just a prelude to what WrestleMania night two is going to be like, only with a lot better matches and more important feel to it. But yeah, the Bad Bunny and Damian Priest win this match. Give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars, simply because I just wasn't into it. It didn't really get me excited. It didn't intrigue me. There were some good points of it, especially Bad Bunny and what he did. He impressed me. I will give him that. Damian Priest, he did what he had to do in there. He wasn't bad. Miz and Morrison, they gotta go. Just fucking get rid of them both. Fuck them both, man. Their acting, their whole gig, it sucks. It's gotta go. These two guys gotta fucking go. Go together. Break up the tag team. I don't give a fuck what, but they both suck together. Really, they do. You want to get Miz and Morrison to be on the show? Fine. Get them the fuck off my fucking television as a tag team. Get these guys in a rivalry. Have them beat the shit out of each other. Have Miz be more serious. Have John Morrison be more like what Morrison was in Impact Wrestling. I mean, I want to see some fucking attitude. A character here. These people are like fucking bubblegum retards. Pop culture. Fuck that shit, man. I want to see a fucking attitude. That's what was great about the Attitude Era. The point of Attitude Era didn't have to be over the edge, crazy, out of the box bullshit. That kind of crap. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cutting a promo, feeling natural, and being yourself. These guys don't get that opportunity to do any of those things. They're not being themselves. They're being fucking clowns. Or puppets on a tennis shoe. It's just... There's no realism to it. You can't relate to it. You can't relate to who they are. That's the fucking problem with the damn show. Get the fucking Attitude Era back where it's still family friendly, but still at the same time, you got fucking attitude. You got a freaking character. You got emotion. You got drive to want to be the absolute fucking best on the show. They don't do any of that shit. The only one that has that is Roman Reigns right now. Edge and Daniel Bryan. That is why that is the main event of the entire show. That is the main event. I don't care what Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair did here tonight. It wasn't main event. To me, that wasn't main event. To me, that was co-main event. That was the match you should put right next to the main event, but it ain't main event. There's only one main event, and that's the match that closes out the show. This show ain't over, folks. This was just part 1. Part 2 is the finale. And the finale of the night 2 is the main event with Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. So thank you very much. And anyone that walks around saying, oh, the women got the main event. No, they didn't. They didn't get to main event. They got to main event night 1. Night 2 is the real finale of the entire fucking thing. So, whatever you did in night 1 don't matter. The show here, to me, didn't fucking matter. If I didn't even watch it, it wouldn't have mattered. I'll be honest with you guys, if I didn't have this channel, I wouldn't be uploading I wouldn't have sat through 3 hours of watching this shit. And I'm sorry to say it's shit, because not all of it was garbage. But some of it wasn't even needed to be on this card. It really wasn't. I just felt it was unnecessary stuff. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, John Morrison, and The Miz. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I won't say it was a great match, but it was well worth being on the WrestleMania card. Because it had more of it had a better story than Braun Strowman and fucking Shane McMahon. It had a better story than Miz and Morrison. Better story than fucking, whatchamacallit, AJ Styles and Omos against the New Day for the tag team titles. I just don't get this shit. I really don't. But yeah, I mean, if I wasn't uploading videos on this channel, I wouldn't even watch night 1. Because, to be quite frank with you, if I wasn't worried about the pandemic and I enjoyed the actual build going into WrestleMania, I would have chose night 2 to buy a ticket, not night 1. Night 1 is not WrestleMania. It's just a portion of WrestleMania. You only watched half the show. The real show starts tomorrow. Night 2 to me is WrestleMania. This was just a fun little thing to get people ready for the real thing. That's all this was. This was like watching a pre-show. Only a very long pre-show. But that's basically it. Nothing against anyone that performed here tonight on night 1. I'm not discrediting anyone. If anyone thinks that, please don't misunderstand me. I understand that this is still part of WrestleMania, but this is not the main card, the main show, the main thing. It's part of the main show, but it ain't the end. So, anyone that wants to say Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair main event in WrestleMania, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Main event is Sunday, folks. Main event is Sunday. So, sorry to break it to all y'all that want to think that Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks main event in WrestleMania. They didn't. They just main event in night 1. That's all there is to it. And that's the way I feel about that. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks was the last match on the card. This was alright. 3.5 out of 5 stars, I'm giving it. Bianca Belair winning absolutely sucks. I do not like the idea Bianca Belair won the title. Who is she going to fucking go up against? That's my question. Who are they going to get her to go up against? What? Carmella? Io Shirai? I mean, that's a possibility. Io Shirai just lost the NXT Women's Championship, so if they want to drag someone up from the NXT roster, put them on the main roster and put her up against Bianca Belair as a challenger, I'm all for that. that I definitely wouldn't have a problem with. If you want to even build it with them kind of like getting into like having a one-on-one match for the championship and it ends up being a draw or a disqualification or just a full-blown double countout type of situation because they are just brawling all over the fucking place and extend it for another pay-per-view the next month after that, I'm all for that. But I don't see the point in why they had to take the title off of Sasha Banks. There was no need for it. Bianca Belair has plenty of years left in her, man. It's not like she's in her 30s or something. I think the woman is like in her mid-20s, maybe late 20s. She still has plenty of time left in her. I mean, unless she sustains a serious injury or something, I can understand that might be a concern, but she takes good care of herself. They don't put these women in any, major harm or danger. They don't make them work every fucking day like they used to. They're not doing that kind of shit. They're working only the televised shows. That's it. So, bottom line, I don't understand why they had to put the title on her this quickly. It wasn't needed. This should have been a building block for Bianca Belair to have a lot of emotional butterflies in her stomach for the first night ever at WrestleMania in her career, main eventing in this case, for night one and perform in front of a live audience after a year. This should have been something where she had butterflies in her stomach. She was nervous. She even admitted that in a fucking backstage interview. She admitted that, and she said, I'm nervous, but I'm not scared. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be scared to fuck up in a match. Being nervous is all you need, man. This woman has never been in that kind of limelight before. She's always been in NXT and what have you. And this is the first time she's ever been pushed into this. This is a big step, and yet they made her just win. Now, granted, they could do some great things with her. I guess maybe you could look at it as a positive, too. I mean, you just stuck her in this situation, and she managed to come out looking good. But when you really look at it, did Sasha Banks really get a legit run with the championship, number one? No. Do we have a bunch of legit challengers for Bianca Belair to face? Nope. We don't. You're going to have to drag people up like I said, Io Shirai would be a great challenger for Bianca Belair for her next her first title defense. Or you could have a rematch with these two, which is very, very formulaic and stupid to go that route. But if that's what you want to do to make things easier creatively, I guess you can go that route. They had a good match. I can't deny that. And then we move forward with a new challenger after that. That's the only thing I can see them doing. Otherwise, there's nothing on SmackDown that really intrigues me. Unless you bring you bring fucking Becky Lynch back and put her on SmackDown with Seth Rollins. Turn her into a heel. That's another option. I mean, that would be kind of interesting. Becky Lynch is a fucking downright evil heel, a legit heel now that her husband and her are people know they're together. You could turn her into a heel prick better than what they were doing before, trying to force it when people really want to see Becky Lynch. And you could do Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. That would be fucking awesome to watch. I actually would enjoy that match. That's a first match ever type of situation, too. Yeah, bottom line, that's my concern. My concern is who are we going to get Bianca Belair to be able to face? I don't know. I really don't. But the match wasn't terrible. I'm not going to, say terrible things about the match. It was a good match, but it wasn't the greatest main event I ever saw. Was it better than then WrestleMania 35 with the triple threat match for the women's championship on Raw. I don't know. I actually probably would take the WrestleMania 35 match simply because they had Ronda Rousey, who's a big name. They were legitimately the last match on WrestleMania. And outside of the fucked ending, the rest of it was great. I mean, you had a good build between Charlotte and Becky Lynch through 2018, leading into 2019. They both were fighting their hearts out trying to win that Royal Rumble in 2019. That's another good thing that brought my attention and my intrigue for that triple threat match. You had a storyline with Charlotte and Ronda Rousey where Charlotte finally lost her fucking cool and started beating the shit out of Ronda Rousey with a kendo stick. So you know Ronda Rousey wanted to face her. All those elements all come together and really has a legit reason to be a triple threat match. So yeah, I was okay with it. I do believe that Charlotte and Becky Lynch should have both won that Royal Rumble match, if you don't mind me stating the truth here to make a little bit of sense, but then to throw Charlotte Flair in there is really forced out bullshit. Let's get real. They should have both won the fucking Royal Rumble together as a tie, and then both had the opportunity to challenge for the Raw Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey. That's really how it should have went down, but whatever. That's past. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, I would take WrestleMania 35 over this one. Not discrediting this one. It was a good match, and I'm very happy for both of these women. I really wish they wouldn't have mentioned, oh, this is the first time in history that two black women are performing in the main event of WrestleMania over a championship. Why do they have to say it's the first time ever two black women are competing over a championship in the main event of WrestleMania? Why do we have to address their fucking color? Aren't they just like everyone else? They're black. Okay, so what? Who gives a fuck? Isn't it good enough that we got two women performing in front of a live crowd for the first time in a year, and they are main eventing in night one, even though there's another main event that's even bigger than that one, and they're still getting a shot to... They were given the opportunity over the WWE Championship match, which, again, was a great fucking... That was a good match. I absolutely loved it. Fucking Bobby Lashley beat Drew McIntyre with a full Nelson, put him to sleep. He didn't tap out, he just was put out. Unfucking believable idea on WWE's part for that. But at the end of the day, guys, they didn't have to address two black women main eventing the night one of WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. It was stupid for them to say. I started laughing when I heard that shit. I'm like, you guys are talking about how we should not be racist, yet we go ahead and we mention their fucking color. Who gives a shit what their color is? I don't care if they're green, Spanish, blue, yellow, whatever. I don't care. They are women. They are doing what they do in the ring that they're good at. And they had an opportunity to go over the WWE Championship match. They got the main event instead of WWE Championship match for night one. That's really all they should have been focused on. These two women are the first two women in history to be in a singles match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, because they never had a singles match at WrestleMania in the main event of night one. Okay, so there's my little rant there by WWE for what they were saying and doing in that main event. I thought that was fucking ridiculous. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to say at this time. I know I've went almost 45 minutes into it. So hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.